All right, we're ready for day 4 of the senior at-home program. We're going to start with a warm-up, 4 different movements, and it's going to be 2 rounds, and you're going to do 15 seconds or 15 repetitions of each of these exercises. Okay, so we're going to start with toe taps. So I can just have like this low, I have this low box, and all I'm going to do, and it can be lower even than this, and I'm just going to tap my foot on top of the box and do 15 of these each side. I can get a little bit of speed coming with it, and think about, try not to let your back round as you lift your hips. Instead, flex your butt to lift that other leg up. Second one is going to be a 15-second one-leg balance each side. So I'm going to start here, and I can hold on to the wall or have the wall close to me on this one. That might help out. And I'm going to start, the thing to start with on the one-leg balance is just to lift your leg off the ground a little bit and try to balance right here. And your feet are going to really be working here. Doing it barefoot is the best way to do it. So if you can do this barefoot, it's going to help out a lot to really strengthen your feet. So the next thing, if you can kick your leg back in balance, you can try doing it that way. You just flex your butt of your up leg. And then if you're feeling really confident with that, you can try this from a, you're going to let your shoulders come forward a little bit and hold that position. So either way, work up on that, 15 seconds each side. The third one are going to be some arm circles. You're just going to do 15 seconds worth of arm circles. You squeeze your shoulder blades together every time you come through and try to get as much shoulder motion as you can. But don't rock your spine when you're doing these. Keep your spine in a neutral position. All right, then lastly, I'll do hip circles, and I can do these with for 15 seconds each side. And this one I want to hold on to something, or if you can balance, you don't have to. And you're going to start the same way that you do your one-leg balance, but then you're going to open your knee to the side and kick it around. You're trying to make like a circle with your knee, or you can imagine that you have a hurdle to the side of you that you're trying to get over. Okay, so you'll do 15 seconds worth of those each side. Go through that one more time for a total of 2 rounds on the warm-up. The second thing, we'll get into the strength exercises, 5 exercises for 3 rounds. 3 rounds of each, 8 repetitions. We'll do 8 repetitions. The first one is going to be a band pull down. Now, I don't happen to have a good setup for this. What I would want is somewhere where I can attach my band up above my head. And if I had to come down to a kneeling position to use it, I could do that too. But the idea would be that I would just wrap my band around something high, and then I would work to pull it down, so pull it down to my chest, coming from overhead to a pull down position. Hopefully you can find some sort of setup to do that. It's a really great exercise. Secondly, you're going to do hip hinges. We did the same exercise in day 2. You're going to come back to it again, work it, because it's really important. This is a really important movement. Your feet are going to be pretty close together, and then you're going to go down. Say I'm keeping my arms right on my legs. That's what you want to do. And you can just go, if you can come down to here where you touch right below your knees, that's great. Now watch my positioning from the side profile. I push my hips back. I'm keeping my spine straight, so I won't want to round my spine. I'm actually thinking about squeezing my shoulder blades down, like pulling my shoulders down and keeping it flexed that way the whole time that I go down into this motion. And then see my knees stay back as well. Those are your hip hinges. And then next I've got to do some farmer carry marches. So here, one other piece of equipment I forgot to mention that I'd like you to get, and hopefully you have something like this, whether it's a suitcase or I'm going to use a backpack, and you can put some stuff in there, like maybe put a brick in there or anything weighted that you have, and you can use this for your resistance training program at home. Let's say I have some weight in here, and all I would do is I want to pick it up, hold it in my hand, and I can walk with it if you have room to walk with it. That's what I would recommend. And do about 20 steps on your right leg, and then you can do 20 steps on your left leg. Otherwise, you can just do a march in place while holding on to your weight. But make it something that makes your arms work a little bit. Make it heavy enough for that. And the positioning that you want to think when you're holding that suitcase or the backpack, don't let your shoulder round forward like this. Keep your shoulder back in a good position, strong position when you're holding it. Lastly, we're going to do some banded high pulls. So I can take one of my bands, I'll step on it with both feet, and then I'm going to work to pull the band up to my chest. Pull it up and release. Pull it up and release, and you'll get your reps there. And the same thing with that exercise. You don't want to shrug up and have your elbows flare out when you do a high pull. You actually want to think about almost pulling back. It's up and back with that exercise. All right, let's finish up today's workout with some stretches. You'll do 15 seconds for each of these stretches. And we went over the same routine in day 2. It's the same routine. So first I'll start by, I can put my hands on the wall behind me, and then I just stretch out my back. I'm stretching out my back ankle, stretching out my calf. I'm going to do that 15 seconds each side. Second one, I got a hamstring stretch, and I'll show you a different version for today. If you kick your leg up onto one of these benches or a chair, you can do it this way. And then just lean forward a little bit and keep your knees straight, and you'll really feel it. The one thing though, you don't want to have if I have my leg here, I don't want my body turned like this. I want to turn my shoulders so that they're square to the leg that I'm stretching, and that's going to get me a lot better. That's going to let me stretch the outside of my hamstring, whereas if I were like this, I would only be stretching the inside of my hamstring. And it's the outside that really gets tight. The third one, you're going to stretch your hip flexor. So what I can do for this is I go into that split stance again, but then really like push my hips forward and feel that you're stretching. You keep that back knee straight too, and you'll just push your hips forward and feel the light stretch in your hip flexor. 15 seconds each side. Next one is a chest stretch. So I can hold on to something like this and then turn my shoulders away from me. And I can just hold on to the wall and from a standing position and do this. There's anything that's going to stretch your chest out here. And then the next one is a shoulder stretch, and I can do the same thing on the wall where I put my hands on the wall and stretch out like that. Alternatively, I can come from the ground and I stretch this out like this. And then the final one I can do from the ground, it's a pretzel stretch. So I'll cross one leg over the other, starting with this, and then if I can reach and grab my back leg and pull both my legs to my chest, that's a great stretch.